Keep yourself in the loop of everything football. Listen to Alex and Jeremiah on the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Hello there, I'm Jeremiah.
I am Alex, always and forever here.
Dedicated to college and NFL football. The latest football news on and off the field. NFL draft trade rumors. We've got you covered from the NFL, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC, and everything else in between. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Thank you for tuning to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, where we talk the latest news, rumors, and games of the NFL and college football. From the latest signings to this year's breakout stars and all the news in between. As always, I'm Jeremiah.
And I am Alex. What's up, man?
Nothing, man. This is a very good show we're about to have.
It is. I'm very excited.
It's our second conference preview.
Yeah, we're going to do the AFC South.
Arkansas State Division.
Yeah, division preview. Yeah. It consists of the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Tennessee Titans, the Indianapolis Colts, and the Houston Texans. It's probably going to be much different this year than it was last year. Houston Texans won that division. I think
it's more open this year.
Yes. Houston Texans won the division last year, 9 wins, 7 losses, followed by the much led for the season Andrew Luck-less Indianapolis Colts at 8-8, the Jacksonville Jaguars at 5-11, and the Tennessee Titans at 3-13. So let's jump into it.
Yes, so we're going to talk about the Houston Texans first. Yes, the Houston Texans won the AFC South.
Yes, they did.
And they lost to Kansas City Chiefs 30-0 in the wild card game.
Yeah.
So you know what they did?
They got themselves a new QB.
They got themselves a quarterback and worked on our offense, and that quarterback is Brock Osweiler.
Yeah, Brock Osweiler. We've talked about him on past shows. He hasn't necessarily inspired the offense much in the first 2 preseason games. Looked much better in the second one than the first. But it's really going to be what they can do. It's a fear right now that J.J. Watt isn't going to be ready for the regular season, let alone maybe the first 2 games after having back surgery. You have a surplus of wide receivers, though. They're looking very good for them with young Will Fuller, Braxton Miller, DeAndre Hopkins, obviously one of the best in the league. Jalen Strong, who has
Cecil Shorts can also make some plays.
Had a good year. Cecil Shorts III is playing well as well. I like that. J.J. Watt, though, again, he's just rehabbing. They don't know when exactly he'll be back. They did get the addition of Lamar Miller in the backfield there, so that is a plus for them. It's all going to really hinder there on Osweiler. Then they have a running back. They have the strong defense. They have more receivers, but can Osweiler put up points for them at the quarterback position, having given him a lot of money? One thing that was very impressive for me to see was this past preseason game with Jadeveon Clowney. He looked very explosive. He got a sack on Drew Brees. He got back-to-back bull rushes on the tackle, honestly, on the left tackle. It was in Brees' face right away. He looked good. He looked to be the Jadeveon that they took first overall.
Yeah, and I said it on a previous episode way back, I think like a couple months ago, that this is a make-or-break year for Jadeveon Clowney. Yeah. And he's finally fully healthy. He looks like he's heading the right direction. And Clowney, with J.J. Watt, a healthy J.J. Watt, this Stevens is going to be even more deadlier than last year. You know, and because they got interior guys like Vince Wilfork always plugs up the offensive line. Always plugs it up. Devon Still, you know, he plays solidly well. Whitney Merciless, I always say his name wrong.
Yeah, Whitney Merciless.
He plays well. Brian Cushing.
I love Brian Cushing.
Yeah, Jonathan Joseph.
That guy's insane.
Jonathan Joseph's playing really well at the cornerback.
At a higher age, he's still playing well.
Yeah, so this defense looks like it's about to be really good again.
Yeah.
But all it's going to be is Brock Osweiler. I think, honestly, he just has to play average enough. He doesn't have to, win the game, you know. He just has to not turn the ball over. You know, kind of like what we talked about the other quarterback on the previous show. Who's the other quarterback? Garoppolo, yes. He can honestly just play like that. This is and they're in a winnable division.
Yeah, they're definitely in a very open division.
I wouldn't be surprised if Houston Texans repeat again.
Yeah, they have a very young offense, solid defense. You know, they have some kick returners, some special teams players. I could see them winning this division again. But moving on to the team that I think is going to win this division, and that's the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay. Oh, that's your pick. Okay.
Yeah, well, mainly because before I get into any details, the Indianapolis Colts went 8-8, 500 last year with a team that did not have Andrew Luck for the majority of their year. You know, they went and got Ryan Kelly, the top-rated center in the draft from Bama, to help protect Andrew Luck. They got, some pieces on defense. They got a safety in the second round out of Clemson. Obviously, you have Andrew Luck back. He signed a huge, fat contract.
And we covered that.
We covered it in the episode. PH fat. Andrew Luck got a fat contract. It's the same thing, though, as it always is with the Colts. You almost seem as it's the defense that's the issue for them. As a matter of fact, today, cornerback Vontae Davis sprained his right ankle, and he is currently week to week. So they have, yes, I'm going to say this, and you got to hear it. They have Cromartie visiting.
Antonio Cromartie
visiting the Indianapolis Colts.
Hey, man, he needs a team, man. He needs a team. He needs to take care of those kids, man.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, they have second-year defensive lineman Henry Anderson, who they just took off the PUP list. He tore his ACL last year. He's a big gain to that defense, but really what's most important, like I said, is Luck staying healthy. He didn't miss any games at all up to 2014, and last year he missed 9. So, not 9 total. Excuse me. He missed how many games did he miss last year?
Andrew Luck?
Yeah, he missed a lot of games last year.
He missed way too many.
Yeah, let's say that.
He missed way too many. I think I had Andrew Luck as an MVP candidate earlier this year. The reason for that being is because you've seen how this team plays without Andrew Luck. He is very valuable to this team.
Mm-hmm.
And, if Andrew Luck plays even remotely close before his injury-ridden season last year, dude, the Indianapolis Colts could be – honestly, this is the team I think that's most likely to get 10 wins this year. And I wouldn't be surprised if they win the division, But I'm telling you right now, I think if
he played 7 games last year, so he missed.
But I think, 8. Honestly –
or no, 9.
I think there's only going to be one team in the playoffs in this division because the AFC.
Yeah, the AFC is so heavy with.
It's so heavy.
You have the West, you have the North, you have the East. You have 3 divisions right there that can have multiple playoff teams.
So I think whoever wins this division between the Texans or Colts, I think both of these teams need to get 10 wins to win a division.
Yeah, which, like I said, with Luck, I mean, he's won numerous games his first 3 years in the league, and then last year, like I said, he only played 7. But, he's kept him. When Luck he's the kind of guy, when he's playing, you're always relevant. You're always in the hunt. He threw for 40 touchdowns last year, excluding not this past season, the prior in 2014.
And Andrew Luck got him all the way to the AFC Championship game 2 years ago. So they were just one step away. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised with them making a deep playoff run and winning the division. So
yeah, that's my pick right now.
That's your pick right now.
With Luck back, no matter how bad that defense can be at times. That offense scores points.
Okay,
that's the complete opposite of the Texans. The defense can stop people, but that offense can be able to score points.
And you want to hear my pick
to win the division?
Yeah,
dude. I hope it's who I think it is because I'm psyched.
All right, but we got to take a break.
Yeah, we got to take a break. I like that. Oh, I was gonna say, but Jeremiah, do you want to? I like it. You're growing up so fast.
What are you talking about? I'm older than you.
All right. Anyways, we're going to take our first break, and we're going to get back to review these second 2 teams. I'm sure if Jeremiah hasn't said the team he thinks is going to win the division already, you can probably narrow it down to the 2 teams we haven't spoken about. So we'll take our first break here at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, and we'll be right back to discuss those teams.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be, visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. We are in our AFC South preview show. We talked about the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. And you said you got the Colts winning the division, right, Alex?
Yeah, I can see the Colts winning.
And I did not pick a team to win this division yet because I think the Jacksonville Jaguars will come up on top this year. That's right. The NFL's most saddest, forgotten franchise will make a comeback.
The Browns are going to win the division?
No. Jacksonville Jaguars. They're not even in this division, Alex. Come on.
Well, you said saddest, most forgotten.
Well, okay. They're pretty much there, if you think. Come on. They've been one of the most saddest teams in the during this.
Well, I mean,
past
yeah, they went
decade.
5-11 last year. 1-7.
They were 5-8 at one point, and they were in the wild card hunt,
which is embarrassing.
Well, they were actually in the hunt for the division too, because remember, the Houston Texans went at 9-7.
Yeah.
So they were in the hunt for the division title at times, but they lost 3 straight games.
Yeah, and Houston won 3 straight games.
Yeah, so that obviously hurt him. But yeah, man, I'm loving this Jacksonville Jaguars team. This is a pick with my heart. I just couldn't do this show without picking the Jaguars. Just couldn't do it. Like, I know the Colts have the best quarterback in this division. I know the Houston Texans have the best defense in this division. But I really do think the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to make a huge leap from last year.
Well, yeah. I mean, you have Jalen Ramsey coming in your first overall pick to your secondary. You went and got Prince Amukamara.
You got you said Jalen Ramsey, and then you got
Prince
Miles
Amukamara,
Jack.
You got Miles Jack. You went and got Malik Jackson from the Broncos. Dante Fowler Jr. is coming back. You have Paul Puslesny still there in the middle. You got some pieces in a pretty young athletic defense, I would say.
Yeah, man.
And we saw last year their offense is one that's definitely moving, trending up.
If they had a defense and some of those games that they lost, they could have went over 500 easily. And their quarterback, Blake Bortles, is probably the second best quarterback in this division. In my opinion, I think he is.
Because you luck Bortles, I would say, then
Mariota
kind of tied with Osweiler.
Yeah, I don't know how Osweiler is going to, because we didn't see a full season of Osweiler, so he is a very small sample size.
Yeah. And I guess we didn't see a full season of Mariota either, so I guess that's why you can compare him.
And Osweiler did play with the best defense in the league last year.
And arguably a better offense in the sense of weapons.
Exactly. But getting back to the Jacksonville Jaguars here, my favorite position group, probably the receivers.
Yeah, they're fun to watch.
They got, outside of Allen Robinson, Allen Hurns, Marquise Lee has he's made some plays this preseason.
Yeah, Marquise Lee out of USC. Yeah, 2 years in the league. He's coming in his third year. He's a fun guy to watch.
Yeah, and he's been plagued with injuries during his past couple of
but like the
past couple of years.
The tricky thing is they're minor injuries too. They're not severe injuries. They're the small ones that just hankering you.
Yeah, he looks fully healthy now, and him as a number 3 guy, man, that's huge.
Not to mention you have Julius Thomas at the tight end position, and you still have
Mercedes Lewis. You still got Mercedes Lewis.
Yeah, you still have Mercedes Lewis, and you still have former second overall pick Luke Jokel.
Yes.
At left tackle, who apparently is playing finally like the second overall pick.
And then you got TJ Yeldon, and then you got Chris Ivory, who they signed this offseason. So this offense and this defense, this is a 500-win team, like on paper, but I do think they have enough talent to compete with the Colts, to compete with the Houston Texans. They can definitely beat the Tennessee Titans. I know that. But this team they're talented enough to win this division. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they win 10 games, because I think the team that wins this division is going to be 10-6.
I don't know about that. You can
10
win division
11-5.
I don't see any of the teams.
But I don't know.
I feel winning 11
honestly
games.
Though, I think the Colts are going to be a lot better. Houston Texans, they're not going to go away because their defense is good. I do think Jacksonville Jaguars have enough talent to compete with those two teams, And this is like I said, this is a pick that I'm making with my heart. So
I can only see really the Colts realistically getting 11 wins.
Me too.
I see the Jacksonville Jaguars sitting at about 8 wins this year.
Maybe 9 to 10. I think they can win more than 8.
I think they can win about 8.
But honestly, though, I think if the Jaguars win less than 8 games, this is a disappointing season because there was a little bit of hype around them.
Well, they're building, they're building
there's a lot of hype around them this offseason.
They're building something.
Yeah.
I think,
They didn't have as much hype as the Raiders had this offseason, but there's a little
the Raiders'
hype.
defense is completely.
Oh, dude, we'll get to them in our AFC West show, but they didn't get as much hype as the Raiders.
That's true. I mean, they didn't, but I mean, they're a young team, only getting better. And
but I'm very excited. If I'm
going to say about 8 wins for them.
If I'm a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, you got to be excited about what they're building here.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to use them in Madden when I play Madden.
Yeah, they
came out today.
Yes.
I got to get it and play it. Oh man.
Right.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
All right. Anyways, that is my pick. I'm making with my heart. So,
okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I couldn't do this show without.
It's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay, bud.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's take our last break. We'll come back and we will talk the one remaining team in the conference or the division, and that is the Tennessee Titans. So we'll be right back here at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
And we're back here at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. We'll talk about the last team in the division of the AFC South, and that is the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans finished this season last year at a disappointing 3-13, but they did not get as many play opportunities and games from their overall pick number 1 this year, last year for them, number 2 overall, and that was Marcus Mariota. They did take the 8th pick this year with Michigan State offensive lineman Jack Conklin, and they added to the defense in back-to-back picks with Kevin Dodd and Austin Johnson on the defensive line, and then they went and got themselves a bruiser and Derrick Henry to add.
Yes, they did.
In
the second round, the NFL draft, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, second round, 14th overall in the second round. And then they continued adding to their defense too. A lot of good draft, I would say, for them. And then, of course, they're going to add Derrick Henry to who's looking to revitalize, in my opinion, DeMarco Murray. So they won their first.
Yeah, he's been looking real good in preseason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they won their first game against the Chargers this preseason, and both of them looked very good, Henry and DeMarco Murray. But it's going to be tough for them in terms of a year for them. Again, I feel like they had a rough year last year. Their defense, they add a lot of pieces, but they're not that good yet. They lack quality
Their
depth
defense
at cornerback.
did play good at times, but they fell off towards the end of the year.
Well, their defense in terms of points against was 27th in the NFL. They gave up 26.4 points a game, as opposed to 28th in the NFL for points for. So they definitely needed some offense, which they got. Marcus Mariota, with the addition of those 2 running backs, can be dangerous.
Don't forget they added Rashard Matthews and Taji Sharp, who has looked really good. He looked like he solidified himself as the number 2 receiver for the Tennessee Titans.
5th round pick out of Massachusetts.
Yes, he's been playing well after the Titans traded Dorial Green-Beckham, who looked like he was really inconsistent in camp, looked really inconsistent in games.
Yeah.
He's with the Philadelphia Eagles now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love what they did with this offense. They got Derrick Henry, who's looked like a bruiser. He looked really good in the first preseason game.
Mm-hmm.
And Marcus Mariota, he looks revitalized again. Rashard Matthews, he played well in Miami, and then he looks like he's going to be a big part of their offense. And Taji Sharp, I'm loving what I've been seeing from Taji Sharp this past. He had a really good game this past weekend. Yes. Yeah, and they also got Delaney Walker at tight end. And I do think this team is going to be much improved from last season. I think if they have the same team and they only win 3 games, it's It's gonna be really disappointing. I think this team's more talented than just a 3-win team. Trust me, there's a lot of teams in this league they don't have as much talent on as them, but will win 3 games.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Go ahead. Okay, I don't want to stop your.
No, don't worry, I'm done.
Okay, I was say. Well, I mean, it's gonna fall with keeping the quarterback healthy. You know, he played 12 games last year, protecting him, keeping him healthy. Yeah, you know what's cool? You and I are to the age now where we're older than NFL players. You know, that's weird, right?
That's pretty weird.
Both of us are older than Mariota.
Yeah,
he's October 30th, 93. I'm October 6th, so hey, pretty close. Except for he's born in Honolulu, nowhere near me. He didn't have a bad year last year. You know, he had 700. I'm sorry, he had 2,818 yards of completion yardage there to 19 touchdowns. He had 10 interceptions. He had a fumble issue though. He fumbled the ball 8 times. He did have pretty good rushing numbers, 2 touchdowns. If you remember, he had that long of 87.
Yeah, that was that was fun.
Yeah, that was yeah, he really flashed some speed. That was nice to see. I think he has a good head on his shoulders. You know, like you said, the running back position, yeah, they have Derrick Henry, they have DeMarco Murray. They still have Dexter McCluster there, who's a nice scat back kind of running back. They have David Cobb and Antonio Andrews, so I feel like one of them might still get
running back was a huge
get dropped there.
Running back was a problem for this offense past 2 years. You know, they drafted what's his name out of Baylor, I think. I forgot his name on top of my head.
They don't have a running back on their roster out of Baylor.
No, they did. I forgot his name. I can't think of his name. But yeah, because I had him on my fantasy team past couple of years. I couldn't think of his name right now on top of my head, but he's no longer there. And they just couldn't find a consistent player in the backfield. It was just too inconsistent.
Yeah. I mean, for once, at least they have a backfield, and they have somewhat of a receiving core. You know, they have Harry Douglas, who was formerly of the Atlanta Falcons. They still have Justin Hunter, who's probably their number 1 guy. They have Rashard Matthews, who's playing again with another team.
Yeah, they still got Kendall Wright, who's played well at times.
And they have Justin Hunter.
You said Justin Hunter.
I'm sorry. They have Andre Johnson. They signed Andre Johnson.
They signed Andre Johnson a couple weeks ago. Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And Kendall Wright, of course.
Yeah,
yes. And Kendall Wright, Justin Hunter, that's a good one too.
But I think Tajay Sharp's going to be the number 2 guy.
Okay.
Rashard Matthews looking like he's about to emerge himself as the number 1 guy. But he can possibly be a number 2 guy.
Yeah, I
would
say it's definitely between Justin Hunter and
Kendall Wright.
Kendall Wright is that number 1 guy.
Justin Hunter's been having a couple of injury issues. He's been inconsistent past couple of years, but yeah, they're really talented. Probably one of the most talented receivers in the core.
Don't even get me started on Delaney Walker.
Dude, Delaney Walker's good. I like Delaney Walker.
Delaney Walker had a great year last year.
He actually got really good.
I was like 4 feet from him. I went to, because the Super Bowl was in San Francisco this year. Well, Santa Clara, but San Francisco was the Super Bowl city. And that's something I've always wanted to go see. And so I got to go to that. And I was 2 feet from the dude. He was doing this filming for CBS.
Okay.
But yeah, he had a great year last year, 1,088 yards. He had 6 touchdowns. Remember his long of 61 yards. He had a couple long completions or receptions last year. He looked very impressive all year for them. He's a physical tight end. He can catch the ball in space and run with it.
He's pretty quick, too. Mm-hmm. He's pretty quick.
Yeah, they have back-to-back, not back-to-back, but they still have Taylor Lewan from 3 years ago from Michigan. And then, of course, their rookie from this first round, Jack Conklin out of Michigan State, along with rookie Nick Richter, or Richer, however you want to say that, from Richmond. He's a rookie as well at tackle. Dude, 6'5", 300 pounds. So they're building that offensive line. It's really something that they need to, provide protection for him, because it runs through Mariota in that offense, I feel like. Go ahead.
Okay, the running back I was thinking of was Bishop Sankey.
Oh yeah, Sankey's
garbage. Yeah. He was pretty much, he was garbage. Yeah. He was Sankey, and I think Cobb also got some snaps in there last year at the running back. Yeah, they were just way too inconsistent.
Yeah. And
Sankey era is now over.
Yes,
and they got Derrick Henry and Marcus Mariota. I just love what they did this year, and honestly, I see this team winning 7 games. 7 games. I think they have too much time to win 3, dude. Mm-hmm. They're gonna win more than 3.
Well,
but I think they're a couple years away from being really good.
Yeah, like I said, it goes through their defense a lot. It's funny, this defense, you see, it's like Arizona. A lot of old Steelers go to Arizona because of the connection with the offensive.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of defensive players have been going to the Titans because Dick LeBeau went over there. You now have
who's turning, I think, 79 soon.
Yeah, he's quite up there. I love that man. Al Woods, formerly of the Steelers, 96 on nose tackle there. He is currently with the Titans. You have Sean Spence, who was formerly with the Steelers. He's a good linebacker. I liked him. He's from Miami. He had back-to-back ACL tears, and he came back, and he actually played very well. You have Antoine Blake, who was with the Steelers through all of his career until this year now, and Bryce McCain, who played last year with the Steelers as well, and B.W. Webb, who was on the Steelers for a little while too. He was a cornerback. So a lot of guys from the Steelers that have made their way over there that aren't necessarily starters, but good role players. I don't know if Sean Spence is going to start, but he's looked good in preseason action. And I've always had issues with Antoine Blake. He's a very fast guy, but he was never the best corner. He played pretty well last year. I thought Bryce McCain played well for the Steelers last year as well. But that was a weird saga. You know, he's with the Panthers earlier this year, got released, and now he's with the Titans. But really, I would say their advantage is their linebackers, rush linebackers, and their defensive line. And they have Jarrell Casey, Daquan Jones. They still have Kevin Dodd there at linebacker, Derek Morgan, and not to mention Mr. For the most part, people remember him as Redskin, Brian Orakpo.
Yes.
And Jason McCourty, of course.
They got Derek Morgan there still.
Yes, I said, yeah.
And this defense looks like it's, especially the front seven, looks much improved on paper, that is.
Yes, the front seven looks better on paper. And again, I don't want to forget, I said Jason McCourty also.
Yeah. So, you know, if I'm a Titans fan, I'll be a little more excited too, because you remember Mariola's first game, he just lit it up.
Oh, he went crazy. He threw what, 4 touchdown passes?
Yeah, against Jameis Winston, the guy that got drafted before him.
He outplayed him. But to be fair, he probably had a little bit more of a team around him. He did.
No, I agree. He did.
I would say for sure from the start.
Yeah. So to recap what we have here, you have the Indianapolis Colts winning.
I do.
I got the Jacksonville Jaguars winning.
Mm-hmm.
And we got the Texans possibly winning the division as well.
I say 2-3.
2-3.
Yeah.
So you got
because the Jaguars I feel like could make some noise.
They could. I'm like I said, I made that pick with my heart. I usually don't do this, but I feel like this was the time to do it.
It's okay.
And but I do see the Tennessee Titans. I see them finishing last again, but I think this division is more competitive this year. Yeah. Every team got better.
Yeah, I would say probably one of the most improved.
Because this division was weak last year. This division is really competitive now, and it's a lot better. So I think this is probably going to be one of the most funnest divisions to watch this year. Yeah.
I'm with you, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Now, we're going to get going, and I'll have Jeremiah do those outros for you in a second, but we're going to talk about who we're going to pretty much preview our next preview episode, and that is the AFC West. We started with the defending NFC South, defending NFC champions. So we'll talk about the Super Bowl champions. With the AFC West, we'll start with the Broncos, obviously, having won the Super Bowl last year. It's a division that's going to be very up in the air this year, consists of the Broncos, the Kansas City Chiefs, Oakland Raiders, and San Diego Chargers.
Very open again. Very open.
Very open, but I can't wait. And next episode, we're going to preview the Week 3 action heading into the NFL preseason. So why don't you go ahead and give them our little outro, and we'll get going for the day.
You can listen to the GSMC Football Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, SoundCloud, Google Play, and our website, gsmcpodcast.com. You can follow us at Twitter at GSMC_football and on Instagram at the same handle. That is at GSMC_football. And don't forget to like our Facebook page at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Don't forget YouTube.
I did say YouTube.
You say YouTube?
Did I say? Yeah, I did say. Okay. You can find us on YouTube too, guys.
And Facebook.
and Facebook. Everything. And don't forget, our show is free. It's free 99, guys. There's no excuse. We're everywhere.
Free 99, so it's 99 cents?
Free 99.
So 99 cents.
No, free 99.
Uh-huh. You're one interesting fella.
Okay, it's free. I know Ben likes to say that on our baseball show. He's like, it's free 99. But yeah, that's our show, guys, and this was fun.
I liked it. We can't wait to do our next one.
Yeah, we can't wait.
I can't wait. So, as always, we will see you guys on Wednesday. But I am Alex.
And I'm Jeremiah.
And you guys have a good rest of your day.